Hello everyone! We continue our masterclass series Drawing Chanel. Today we will make our another look from Chanel Fall Winter 2020. The look is totally made, designed from tweed material, and it will be very interesting to sketch it together. We will sketch it together with markers and liners. Of course, we will start with the body proportions, the costume itself, the texture, the material, and we will move forward with the details. And first I'm starting to put the figure on my paper, and of course I'm starting from the head, hair volume. Then I will pass through the small face details and go through the costume itself and her body. What you have to remember always drawing a model, take a look at her catwalk dynamic. This is very important because depending on her catwalk dynamic, we have some changes on her costume lines. It is a very important point to consider while you're drawing. And as you draw, always remember to show the details on her costume. The faster you show the costume details, the easier your process will go through the markers and liners as well. I always use for my pencil drawings the mechanical pencil. It is easier for me in order to showcase the textures, to showcase the details, and it is very easy to use. As you see, there are some pleats on her jacket. Then we go through her shorts and we showcase the legs. And again, legs, very important part here because we have to show her legs dynamic, how she walks. Here we can see a very interesting leg turning back while she's walking. Please pay attention to that exact moment and try to understand the proportion of her leg in a right way. We are almost finalizing the pencil sketch, and we will start with markers afterwards. And as you see, there is a very interesting top the model is wearing with the beautiful details, small ornaments. And on her collar of the top, you can see elements which Karl Lagerfeld always loved to wear. So we will not mention them with pencil right now because this is the very detailed work which we will make afterwards when we will start drawing it with the liner. You can always make some changes to your pencil sketch, and then we are going back to our head, to our hairstyle, and of course a bit face detail. She has a very interesting volume hairstyle, we have to mention it. her bangs cover a bit of her eyes, so we cannot showcase her eyes in a full way. Here we have to mention the color of the jacket. So we put these details on our paper, showcasing the color detail. As you see, it is quite white. And again, don't be afraid to show some pleats, some material silhouette changes in her costume, because these all details will be really helpful for you when you will make your sketch, your illustration in color. We have a pocket here. After we finalize our sketch in pencil, we can remove our extra lines that we use to help just to help ourselves, because when you remove them, your sketch will have more accurate view, more accurate image. And I prefer to use Copic markers in order to draw this exact sketch. And I will start with the skin tones. Why I like Copic markers? Because the colors and the skin tones are very comfortable to use when you draw. So this is my palette of the skin tones here. I think this one is too much. So this is my face tones that I will use. So let's start. I'm starting with the light tones, of course. And in order to showcase some shades, I use a darker color, and actually I usually try to use the gray tones, warm gray tones. It can be warm gray 1, 2 or 3 depending on the skin tone that you are working on. The marker that I'm using now is E70, it's Ash Rose, so it gives some shades to my skin tone. And also I would like to note a thing, that never be afraid to use the dark tones when you are drawing with markers, because these markers usually dry and the colors get very, let's say, shaded. They don't leave their bright color until the end. Even very often I have to draw again, like another layer, with these colors. And then we go to our hair. And here I am going through the costume tones. I have chosen 3 markers here, black and 2 different grays. One of them is warm gray 7. It means that it is the warm tone of the gray, and the other one is cold gray of the gray tone. Why I'm choosing 2 different colors? Because my costume is more looks like a cold gray tone, but regarding the top, we see the skin tone, which gives a more warm tone to our color. So that's why I will try to use both warm and cold tones in one look. Let's see what we're gonna have here. You can start with highlighting with your dark marker, with your black marker, the details like colors, or your linear details like contour. And I will show her back at once. When you draw all the details at the one time, it's much easier for you. So it means that you will not miss anything until the end. Here we show the pocket and the shade of, as you see, there is a shade from the jacket to her costume, so we can easily show it right now. And we can color the back side of the jacket. Legs, a very important and beautiful part of this sketch actually are the legs and the stockings. I'm jumping from one detail to another in order to keep the balance in the illustration. It's actually very important because when you are drawing only one part, you can lose the balance in your sketch. I am showcasing the darker parts of my costume, of my model, and I just made an experimental texture style. Maybe we will use it further on. Why I made it here? Because it's the darkest part. Anyway, I will color it up in black maybe. Here we are going through the lace top. Be very attentive here, and also please pay attention to her again body dynamic. Here I again get back to the skin tones. As you see, her a bit of her stomach is we can see, and first we will showcase the legs skin tone, and then we will work on her stockings, because those markers easily can be blended up on top, so you can use different layers, couple of layers, and it will not ruin your sketch. So don't be afraid to do that as well. And now I will start to make the boots. It's a very interesting color of the boots, so I'm using a Faber-Castell marker here because I don't have that color in my Copic palette. Now I'm adding a bit of red, so to blend the colors, and as you see, blending is very successful in those markers. We can show the shadows of the boots, and we leave white the light part of the boots. And let's try to work on our tweed material with our cold gray color. You can use different ways of showing the tweed material. I will mix up different styles. It can be some dots. The same I'm doing with the jacket, of course. Don't forget the shades, of course. And here you can see some pearl details on her shorts. We can showcase them. When you try to make some texture style in one part of the costume, right, exactly the same texture style, you have to try in the other way, in the other part of the costume, because that will give you the sense that the costume is designed from one material. It is very important. It is hard to keep doing the same texture in a whole costume in the same way, so that's why doing a small part in the one part of the costume, try to make the same small piece in the other part of the of your costume, so that it will give you the that feeling that the costume is made from one same material. Regarding the lace part, you don't have to make the exact ornament of the top, but you have to showcase that there are some small ornaments of the top which is lace. And here we start with the skin tone, a little bit with the skin tone, because it is a transparent top that will give a feeling of a transparency. And then you can continue with the black color. Here is the details, the jewelry details that we have to showcase as well. The shades, don't forget about them. And again, we are keeping balance here. I'm jumping from the top to the jacket because top now is almost done, and I have to show that the jacket material is much more harder than the top. I'm using here my gray tone, the cold gray one. And actually, I would skip drawing the other part of the costume because this is a symmetric costume. And if I will create the other part of my costume exactly the same way that the right part, I think it will be a bit boring. So what just can I make here? I made a piece with one tone, and I'm going through with my white pen just to showcase the tweed effect. Here we are doing the jewelry. And again our pearls in the shorts. We have another detail there, jewelry detail, which we have to showcase. And here we use our liner because it's a very small detail. Here we also will make the dark tone. This is our like the darkest part of the costume, the black bag. We have to showcase it as well. Here we have to show that the material is made from tweed. It's very important because tweed is not an easy material to sketch, to draw. That's why don't think that you are wasting your time. It's actually important part of the sketch this time. And again, I would like to leave this part white, which will give a beautiful effect. And let's go for our stockings. What I think to do, I will take a black pencil, or maybe we can use warm gray marker, warm gray 4, and give her skin tone some grayish tone, which will give an effect of stockings. And then we will put our details on the stockings. Actually, it's not dots as I thought in the first time. It's Chanel logo in a very small size on the stockings, so we can showcase them. And now we get back to our face here. And again, I'm taking the liner, S-size Faber-Castell liner. And very, very easily and lightly, I will put the details of her face. So here is it, a very light face details. And a bit some touches to her to her hair, just some shades. You can make it as well. Even if you see the markers, still what I was talking about, the marker colors, they get dry, and the color even of her hair, they are not that bright as they were in the beginning. So here is our ready look, let's say. We are ready here. I will wait for your options of this look and will gladly share my comments.